Don't get lost, boys. A full tour of Midnight's pre-patch features, stuff that you should be doing this week, maybe next week, kind of a laying of the land of how to spend this time in the pre-patch era until the actual expansion goes live. Let's see how this is here from Dalaran Gaming.
Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dal, and the Midnight Pre-Patch is finally here, bringing with it a ton of new changes, from a massive class revamp to a brand new playstyle, but also other systematic improvements as well. And from my time spent over on the Midnight Beta, I really do think that this expansion transition from War Within into Midnight is going to be one of the biggest and one of the most jarring ones we've seen in the past, where usually most expansions build upon the foundations that were created by the previous expansion.
This one wrecks it.
Midnight is taking the game in a whole new direction.
Yeah, the removal of add-ons, the redoing of classes completely, like class rotations and everything are big time changing, plus the stat squish. Yeah, I kind of agree with him. This is a pretty big change to how you're going to play the game for a pre-patch.
From the general baseline UI, which is getting a ton of new updates, to the way the classes are going to streamline in terms of how they play and interact with endgame content, everything about this expansion is going to feel wildly different than ever before. However, only time will tell where this bold new direction will take us in the future. But for the time being, with the pre-patch dropping, I do want to go over all of the new content that will be available before the official release of Midnight, primarily highlighting all of the new features, adjustments, improvements, as well as some of the new content that will be made available for you to experience while waiting for the official launch of Midnight itself.
Right before people keep mentioning the removal of add-ons, but it seems that it was just the kinds that I never used. Well, if you were only using aesthetic add-ons, yeah, then there's no real change here. A lot of those are still working. But the add-ons that really changed things, and really it's like the top 1%ers that are going to notice the big difference, is like the weak auras, all the boss fight mechanic helpers, like all the shit that was helping complete combat mechanics. That shit's the stuff that really got scuffed up, removed, changed, watered down. Like that's the stuff that changed. If you were just like a UI add-on Andy, then your shit's pretty much going to stay the same. There's not much that's going to change, besides the fact that you can opt out of some of that stuff now because some of it's in-game.
Getting into all of that, if you guys enjoy and want to see more regular Midnight updates going forward, be sure to follow the channel and subscribe, because we'll definitely be doing some more guides over on the channel, especially if you're interested in playing Rogue going forward. But otherwise, let's dive right in.
Why do I watch this guy watch other stuff? Because Streamception.
Midnight, out of all the last few expansions, is probably bringing one of the biggest and one of the most comprehensive class overhauls that we've seen in a very long while. I think there's only two specs in particular that are being barely touched, that being the Frost Death Knight and Protection Warrior. Outside of this, literally every other spec in the game is being revamped completely. In fact, there's going to be a whole new spec to play in Midnight with the Devourer Demon Hunter.
True.
Which I feel like on this channel we've covered it quite a decent bit, but it's an intellect version of a...
Has anyone tried Devour Demon Hunter yet? The playstyle kind of looks cool, like you're just trying to keep up your metamorphosis or something. That's like the gist of what I've gotten out of it. But it looks like a fun spec to play. I always thought that kind of... Like, I've done the upkeep shit before with Frost DK, where you wanted to keep up Breath of Cindergosa. You're just blasting shit apart, trying to keep that thing going. It's a nice, fun play style. I just wonder how it's playing through Devourer now. I'm leveling up a Devourer into, like, weapons that aren't dropping, so it's slow. Fib, good question. I'll always see bug things on the add-ons. Look, turning off add-ons, just try it. Try it. See how the game plays. I think a lot of people have seen frame rate increases for not playing with add-ons.
Demon Hunter playstyle, a more mid-range gameplay, and it offers actually a fairly easy to get into rotation, so for newer players this may be actually a fantastic option. And while it is super fun and easy to get into, it also does really well, at least when it comes to the high end over on the beta, when it comes to the raid and dungeon testing. So it potentially could be so many players' next new main that offers a mix of ranged abilities while still keeping a lot of that movement and combo playstyle that Demon Hunters are very well known for.
Man, that was crazy, that ranged ability he just said. These guys are going to be OP for sure. I think they're going to be, they might be meta. For the first season, I bet you these guys are going to be meta DPS.
With this, we also get access to Void Elf Demon Hunters, since Demon Hunters are embracing the Void in a whole new way. Void Elves also get to join the ranks through a questline which you'll need to complete once the pre-patch goes live, before Void Elf Demon Hunters become a playable option. With this, we also get a brand new hero spec for Demon Hunters, being Annihilator, which is a little bit more passive. I guess all Demon Hunter hero specs are somewhat passive, but Annihilator is a little bit more streamlined, like some of the other options. It leans more into those ability combo mechanics that all three specs of Demon Hunter get to play into. And it's so weird to say all three specs instead of two specs nowadays. But it does have some interactivity, but will be one of those hero specs that'll be generally easy to get into compared to what Demon Hunters have had access to previously. With that though, Demon Hunter is not the only class that's getting a metric ton of changes. Like I said, literally every other spec out there gets a ton of new options. Some get thematic redesigns, mechanical redesigns, new talents, new abilities, changing up some of the mechanics, but generally any spec that has some complicated for the sake of complicated gameplay, they're trying to reduce that as best as possible heading into this expansion specifically. So you'll see a lot of streamlining for so many playstyle options. But you also see a lot more additions to, especially when it comes to some of the hero talents as well.
Yeah, that's a basic philosophy across the board. You know, removal of add-ons means removal of complexity too, to try to make the game work without add-ons. And that's what you know, the basic philosophy is for all the classes, is removal of a lot of the stacking of I got to track 17 different resources to do my rotation properly. A lot of that stuff's getting watered down. So your class should really play easier. Your rotation should be easier. We'll see how it actually plays out. Can someone please tell me why his party frames blinking blue sometimes? What is that, and how do you get rid of it? Whose party frames? Your party frames? Or his? I don't know. I don't know why his are blinking blue. I have no idea. I don't even know what freaking shit he's using right now. It looks like he's not using the in-game party frames. That doesn't look like the in-game version of it yet.
You'll notice all the hero talents, whether we talk about the new ones or the old ones, now sport an extra row, which features additional, mostly passive, some more interactive abilities that you get to spec into. During pre-patch, you will essentially be missing 3 of those talent points within the hero talents, but whenever we get into the actual official release of Midnight, you'll eventually be able to fill out the rest of your hero spec tree. But for the time being, you will be playing with a partial version until you can fill it out later down the line. They will still give many players for pre-patch quite a bit of customizability and playability within this more limited version of how our classes play. You know, the basic talents, not a full filled out hero tree, and also missing the apex talents, which are going to be a core component of how classes are designed.
I see the blue
heading
thing
further into Midnight.
Looks like a debuff or something that's going off.
Updates. Outside of this, another thing.
Oh wait, that is the in-game one, isn't it? That little art animation right there, isn't that from the new in-game shit? What is that for? So there's a lot of new in-game UI that you're going to see. He's actually using the in-game damage meter too. So I take it back what I said. I think he's using the in-game shit. But it looks like he might have another add-on downloaded. But this blue thing is from the game. So I'm not sure exactly what this is indicating. But it's something. It could be. He looks like he has a debuff on him.
Outside of this, another thing you'll notice that's pretty evident is the number squish. The health and damage numbers are going to be smaller in Midnight. This does allow Blizzard to build out a better foundation.
I know the green one's like a poison or a dot on you. So that I know what the green one is. I don't know what the blue one is. Might be healing or something. I have no idea.
Expansions, especially as we continue our power progression, heading into the next chapter of the Worlds of Saga, being the Last Titan expansion, which is going to feature and appear way after Midnight has run its course, and then potentially future expansions to come afterwards. But this helps them to reset the power a little bit. They're not resetting levels like they used to. We're still going to be going from level 80 to level 90 in Midnight, and I'm assuming to level 100 in Last Titan. But the damage numbers, healing numbers, and health numbers are all seeing quite a bit of reduction. While the numbers are smaller, which makes it a little bit easier for players to figure out exactly how hard you're hitting mobs, because, you know, looking at millions or billions of damage, especially if you've been playing Legion Remix, when numbers get so big, it's hard to really, imagine just how strong they are.
Right.
But with smaller numbers, it does make it feel like getting a 20,000 crit on a mob feels super impactful and much easier to parse just with your eyes specifically.
Yeah, one thing I would say this week is because the numbers squish, you really can't base your current DPS on anything that you were doing before, right? The numbers are just broken now because they've been squished so much. So for me, I'm going to try to group up and see how my numbers stack up against other people, because you can't compare against yourself. You're going to have to look at other people's numbers and see how you're ranking out in terms of total numbers.
But also, while we are getting smaller numbers in terms of health, damage, and healing, it doesn't mean our character's
It's
power
like a
grows
DPS
weaker.
check
Characters,
comparison.
especially those that are at max level, mythic geared, geared to the teeth from the previous raids, those players will still feel relatively powerful to the rest of the world content, raids, and dungeon content that'll be available during pre-patch. So your character should not feel weaker, you should feel just as powerful, just the actual numbers themselves are a little bit smaller this
Right.
time around. Another exciting feature that I couldn't wait for a very, very long time, and I wish I
there it
brought this
is.
out earlier, is the
Play with your
Transmog changes,
Transmog.
where it features many, many good improvements. The transmogrification of the slot rather than the item is the one I'm really excited for.
So evidently, this is what broke the game. The Transmog update and changes is why the servers were down for so long. Blizzard released a blue post about it in the morning and said, yeah, it was the Transmog. Sorry, guys. And it's still broken if you faction change. So don't faction change this week. Now, hold off. Don't do it because it breaks shit and you lose your gold and your Transmog's all reset. So just hang on. Just play with Transmog. Supposedly they fixed it besides the faction change bug. That's still not fixed.
Since you could essentially swap out pieces of gear, like let's say you're leveling a brand new character.
I heard you broke the game. Yeah, it was me.
But as you swap out shoulders, your helm, your belt, or whatever other items you get through quest rewards as you level a brand new character, you will no longer have to switch out the actual transmog of that slot, because you transmog the slot, so as you replace new items, you still keep the appearance of your character, you still can keep your entire ensemble even as you replace all of your items. They also reduced the weapon restrictions for many different classes out there, specifically martial classes, like the warrior in particular. So if you're a big fan of playing a Fury warrior and running him as a big old hulking Viking, but you're also a fan of the Vinland Saga, Fury warriors will be happy to know that while wielding two-handers, you will be able to transmog into wielding daggers instead.
What?
Which I think will open up some more creativity when it comes to transmogs and things.
That's trippy as shit. I'm going to see a warrior dual wielding. I'm going to think they're a rogue. I'm a very visual person, so I usually know a class by looking at him and what he's currently equipped. This is a warrior. This is not a warrior right now. He's clearly running as a rogue. That's trippy as shit. Running that a rogue dagger wielding warrior. The hell?
When it comes to transmogs and things like that. You also will be able to make outfits that you could swap into at any time and anywhere. Those will cost you a little bit of gold though, but this will be some kind of this
It would mess me up in PvP a lot.
Where as you invest into more outfits, you unlock outfits for all of your characters at the same time. And these outfits can also be utilized with situations, which automatically switches your character to a variety of different outfits. Like every time you enter battlegrounds, dungeons, raids, go questing out in the open world, or visit the main town hub city, or whenever you turn in for the night inside of your player home, situations will automatically switch to whatever outfit that you have set up ahead of time, which is a pretty nifty feature.
Cool. Sup,
Housing
Brenna?
is another aspect that gets even more reinforced and even more love in pre-patch, with them adding elven homes, both night elf and blood elf styles, as well as decorations for the outside within midnight. So you're probably going to see quite a bit of variety of neighborhoods instead of everybody having that orcish home or a human home.
Oh yeah, the
depending
night
on
elf and
of your choice. You also will
blood
get the
elf
ability
aesthetic.
to upgrade your house level to level 9, which unlocks even more rooms and perks.
Right, so that's one thing. Like, if you really want to level up your house, you could do that this week. Do the Endeavor shit. You just saw the Endeavors give a lot of XP towards housing level ups. So go do Endeavors if you want this week. There's no cultist shit going on. So this week's a good week to just kind of run through Endeavors, learn your class, learn your spec, get some housing XP, do all that shit.
Will help you customize your home with greater detail. Players will also
And
get the
indoor and
ability
outdoor
to create
rooms,
charter
nice.
neighborhoods, which are essentially owned by a community. So even if you don't have a guild that owns the neighborhood, if you're part of a larger player community, you can actually start charter neighborhoods, which I imagine players that are really...
You can't. It's broken. Yeah, it's broken. The charter communities are broken. I just talked about that a little bit ago. That was another thing that held off the servers going live. Endeavors for charter communities weren't working, so this is not a thing yet. You can't make a charter community yet. Blizzard said they're working on it, and they're hoping for a fix in the next day or two. So just wait, and if you want to do a charter community, it'll be available probably sometime later this week.
really invested into housing might be able to find communities just specifically
What the fuck is a charter
housing.
community? It's a community that it's a neighborhood that's put together. You know, you get a charter together. It's basically between a public neighborhood and a guild neighborhood. You're not in a guild, but you're a group of people who play together. You have a community, probably. You have a community. You know the communities in the game that you could make. It's the same thing, but it's a neighborhood for that community. So that's what you do. It's a neighborhood of people you know, but you're not in a guild together.
In particular, endeavors are also going to be made available during this update, which are essentially special neighborhood events that allow you to complete neighborhood tasks for neighborhood rewards. Various tasks include maybe doing some open world content as a solo player, or possibly grouping up with other players to do raids and dungeons. And as you complete these tasks, you get to unlock a variety of different decor and perks for everybody in your neighborhood. So there's some opportunity for a more collaborative process when it comes to housing system. Those of you very much interested into PvP will be happy to know that there's now Training Grounds, which is essentially a PvP game mode where players can experience battlegrounds against non-player enemies, essentially bots, which takes inspiration from the brawl of Comstomp.
Nice.
It is meant to be used as a way for new or potentially less experienced players, not really delving into PvP much, to be...
Yeah, might be a decent way to get honor, too. Somebody in chat this morning said they were running it this morning just to get honor. That's kind of cool.
Slowly introduced and acclimated to the fundamentals of PvP gameplay, where you get to experience a variety of different battlegrounds to test out what the objectives play like, but also PvP-like simulations where you can properly learn PvP combat. It's very difficult to learn PvP when you're facing up against very geared and very experienced players who've been PvPing for a very, very long time. But for players that are brand new to it, that always get intimidated by the cutthroat nature of PvP, this could potentially be your foray into PvP systems with a much more of an approachable angle. A little bit later, a week after the launch of Prepatch goes live, we also get the Prepatch event, Twilight Ascension. An invasion style event which is not unusual for World of Warcraft, especially during Prepatch events, and this invasion will be happening in the zone of the Twilight Highlands, where the event will include a variety of different rares that will spawn every 10 minutes with a little ritual for every one of them that you summon. There's going to be plenty of world quests for you to complete daily.
Yeah.
You also have
this kicks off next week, so this is not this week. I think it's the 27th. Yeah, the 27th. This stuff will kick off. So that's why this week you kind of just ride it out, see how things, see how your class feels and everything before you start doing this the next week.
Quests which are meant to reward you a big bulk of this new currency as well as old currency that will be available during this event. An opportunity for you to collect a variety of various items from 2 mounts, 3 battle pets, 3 pieces of unique housing decor, as well as an assortment of Twilight Blade weapon transmogs, as well as champion track items that you can earn as catch-up gear that is warbound gear, meaning that if you obtain it on your main, you can then send it to your alts later as a way for you to be able to easily catch up any of your characters last minute ahead of the Midnight expansion. But with that being said, I do want to thank all of you guys so much for watching, and hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did enjoy it or found it informative, go ahead and give this video a like, as it would very much appreciate it. Also be sure to join our Discord community, especially if you just want to keep up with last minute changes when it comes to the release of Midnight. Be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and as always, I'll see all of you guys in the next one.
Oh, great video. Overall, yeah, fun things to do this week mainly is like learn your class, run the endeavors if you want to, maybe run a dungeon or two to kind of see how your DPS, again, because you can't match it because, we got the stat squish, so you don't really know if your DPS is tanked or not. So comparing yourself to other people, maybe playing the game without add-ons. That's what I've been saying. Just run it without add-ons. Raw dog that shit, see how it feels. Right, because now all this new in-game UI and damage meters and all that shit's there. Hey, maybe you realize you like playing without add-ons. But overall, kind of like a get-to-feel-it week. Nice video here from Dalaran.